I don't think I was necessarily nervous at the beginning, but I was not enthusiastic initially in the idea that I would have, when we work in animation with a lot of, game companies that we've done with my studio.
Time for change is upon us.
Now, 20th Century Fox presents the greatest comedy event of the 20th century.
Mr. Motorboat is in the house. Kung Fu Hot Dog.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for timestamp purposes, it's the 17th of October 2025, and this morning I watched the first and last episode of Splinter Cell DEIwatch, the brand new Netflix supposedly hit TV series on that platform. Well, I got news for you. It's absolutely dog shit. And when I tell you why the first episode is absolutely diabolical and a blemish on the name of not just Tom Clancy, but also the great Sam Fisher, super spy himself. But if you end up liking this video today, folks, maybe give me a like, maybe might consider subscribing to my channel. And without further ado, folks, you know you want to see the opening titles, and so do I.
Prepare to meet the next great American hero.
Are you serious?
His name is
Kung Fu Hot Dog. Relive the 80s and 90s with Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Now here's a screenshot that I've got here right in front of me on my cell phone, which states the following: Sam Fisher's return is to TV rather than video games in Netflix's Splinter Cell DEIwatch. But it's an engaging return for the sardonic super spy, and it's all over too quickly, like a premature ejaculation. I know the feeling so well, but of course you even have fake reviews like this on Google, which, by the way, Google was unable to verify as a legit source, but let me read it out to you, folks. Coming from someone who has played every Splinter Cell game, this show is close to a masterpiece. People are mad because there's, and the wrong use of theirs, by the way, a black woman agent. Are you serious? I hate forced DEI as much as the next rational person, but this show is not that. Yes, they changed some backstory like Shatland's death, which I would not have preferred, but the expansion to the Splinter Cell universe is absolutely there with great ties in the past. Anyone saying this doesn't feel like OG Splinter Cell is not Look, I have no effing clue what the rest of that so-called review is, but it's amazing that they can't verify the review, yet they allow it with spelling mistakes, and this person does contradict themselves quite a bit, because they talk about people are mad about the black female agent with shaven sides because it's a modern day take on a modern day audience that does not exist, played by somebody called Kirby Hal Baptiste, but in the opening credits you gotta call her Kirby because I guess her hyphenated surname is just too long to fit on the big screen, right? I mean, if you saw a singular name for a person, you might think they're a rapper or somebody like Common, for example. With him we can actually pass that exception of the rule. But I will say this, and again, going back to this person's so-called quick review of Splinter Cell, I've played most of the games, and I tell you what, this animated version of Sam Fisher and co is nothing like the games. It's dark, it's grim. I play on words there because Grim is in the show looking fantastically ugly, by the way, who's joined by a female co-worker called Thunder. And when you see her face, you know why. Okay, scratch that. Her name isn't Thunder. I believe it's Joanne or Joanne or Gimme Hope Joanna, like Eddie Grant. And that's the thing. Why are women running the echelon ops here? Where's the male intervention? Why don't we have them? But as the first episode establishes already, there's a group of corporate militia men who are ready to take down the world no matter the cost. And of course, we've got to send in our best agent to stop them from doing that. Is it Sam Fisher? Nope, he's retired in a farmhouse with his dog, looking through photo albums. We don't even have a clue what's happened to Sam's daughter, Sarah. I mean, surely he's got a very close attachment with her, so why isn't he looking at photos of her and maybe getting on the phone to her and asking her how she's doing?
Dad?
Sarah.
I thought you were dead. They told me you were dead.
Sam, I'm sorry, but if I hear that Black Arrow radio chatter right, we are out of time. I'll let you sit next to it, but we gotta go.
None of that shit, because you can't be a single straight white male in a animated version of a beloved video game character, can you? And why is Sam sporting a Steven Seagal ponytail and his only friend for company is a dog? I don't get that. And in fact, I'll tell you this much, folks, when you watch the first episode called Up From the Grave, 15 minutes into it, you don't hear Sam Fisher saying anything. In fact, if you went in as a blindfold test and watched this cartoon for the first time, you wouldn't have a clue this ponytailed guy is actually Sam Fisher. Now, the last time that we actually saw Sam Fisher in a Ubisoft video game was Breakpoint in 2020, and he was great. Good to hear the vocals of Michael Ironside once again.
Nomad. Glad you haven't gone soft since Bolivia. Let's go.
And I gotta say, this is a bit of a... when I started to cringe watching this episode, well, some government operatives find Sam's location, because when can Sam ever stay secret, right? And of course, just before this all happens, he receives a phone call saying, Fisher, you're a hard man to track down, because that's obviously quite a big running joke in the video games as well. And unfortunately, when Sam is surprised, I mean, he's not really surprised, he's prepared for this. Well, his battle-worn skills have gone out of the window. He barely puts up a fight and gets assaulted quite a bit from the operatives who've got the night goggles on, they're armed to the teeth, got the balaclavas, right, the whole 9 yards. And in comparison, Kirby, the black chick, the operative who can do no wrong. In fact, if you look at this interview from Screen Rant right here, this is Derek Kolstad giving an interview to them, and oh, wait until you see this, folks, because it will have you laughing from here to eternity. McKenna was a joke on me. You could say that again. By the way, if you try playing the game by going in and shooting everyone, you lose, right? Well, I'll get back to that point later on. But McKenna is so good, and what I do like about it, I love those movies where the guy shoots a machine gun and hits no one. Are you talking about the A-Team, perhaps? And you have that one old guy in the back going pop, pop, pop. I don't understand this interview at all. Like, what is he even talking about? He even talks about James Bond and how he would like to see an M from 1972. It's a bizarre interview from Screen Rant. But of course, Screen Rant, we know, loves to shill for the left side of politics because that's who they are. And honestly, I don't actually get why McKenna is so good. In fact, you are forced to watch her in the first 15 minutes of this episode, because I came here to watch Sam Fisher in Splinter Cell, not, oh, I'm Sam Fisher stand-in, who is DEI, by the way, the DEI operative. Now, if you think the girl boss character of McKenna in Splinter Cell DEIwatch is bad, check out this poster for Sam Raimi's brand new film called Send Help. Stars Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, a guy I like very much.
Take your seats, you're a little bitch.
But read the top headline. Meet Linda Little. She's from Strategy and Planning. She's the boss now.
I'm a much nicer boss than you ever would have been. Except for maybe this part.
And the thing is, I like Rachel McAdams. I thought she was terrific in Red Eye, directed by the late great Wes Craven, where you couldn't really call her a girl boss. She was a girl fighting against a crazed lunatic played by Cillian Murphy, and that's fine. But of course now, it seems that Sam Raimi has been hijacked ever so slightly, and yes, you could probably say he's not really that way inclined. Sam Raimi did direct Alison Lohman in Drag Me to Hell, and she was great in that as well. And of course, not besmirching the great name of Sam Raimi, I'm just wondering why he's been told to make a film like this, but hopefully the film might be a bit of a surprise to me. Who knows? The director of this series, called Guillaume Doucet, but I shall call him Douchebag, had an interview with a YouTuber, and you could tell this guy is not very comfortable talking to this other person, and a lot of the comments are berating the show as well. Like, bro, we didn't even sign up for this. Why do we have some stupid French man in charge of this particular series of cartoons, which apparently now it's been greenlit for season 2.
He's owned the franchise. They know the characters, they know the laws, they know everything. And necessarily they will guide you through the process. And I was personally more anxious to be in a process where you would have to check every single box and make sure that it fits in the narrative.
So it can only get so much more worse. Ubisoft are an evil, vile company. They're behind this as well. And listen, I've got to give you a bit of a hot take here, folks, because what Ubisoft have said is that this cartoon series, and yes, I'm disrespecting it by calling it a cartoon rather than animated, but I want to get to that point as the last thing that I say in this video. It's going to be canon to the games, which is effing stupid because the video games are video games. They're not animations in the way that you're watching on television. They're interactive, Ubisoft. Do you remember that you actually set this all up with Tom Clancy back in the day? Do you remember that, or have you forgotten already? Okay, maybe you have. Maybe Yves Guillemot is too busy taking one up the ass from Tencent, because that wouldn't surprise me at all, would it? And anyway, I want to get back to what I'm saying here, because if this is the case, then you know there is a Splinter Cell remake happening right now. I believe it's Pandora's Tomorrow, or the very first Splinter Cell game. That will come out and it'll be absolutely fantastic. Oh my god, Ubisoft, thank you so much. We've got a remastered edition of Splinter Cell, but yes, it's going to be for a modern audience because you can't help yourselves because he's so effing retarded. But guess what? You know, we have a great black character. Again, I don't know why I've got to bring the ethnicity here, called Irving Lambert. Fantastic character. His chemistry with Sam Fisher in those earlier games is fantastic. You can tell there's a real respect and camaraderie between the two characters, right?
We just about memorized the speech, Lambert.
Well, start believing it. This is Third Echelon's maiden voyage, and we need it to go smooth as butter.
But the next Splinter Cell game after that will feature this hideous creation right here, McKenna. She will be your new Sam Fisher. You will accept her, you will be ingratiated by her, and if you say one word of objection, you're racist, you're a bigot, you know, the whole 9 yards. We've gotten used to this rhetoric already, folks, haven't we? And I'm getting sick and tired of it, and this is what I think this series is setting up. McKenna will be the new Sam Fisher. Sam Fisher will probably die at the end of season 2, or they might do Last of Us Part 2 and kill him off in this first season. I haven't watched the rest. I don't intend to, because I actually find this series a bit too dark for my liking, in terms of it's very gratuitously violent. And if you play the video games, yeah, they're violent, but it's actually done with finesse. And in fact, going back to that silly article from Screen Rant where the guy goes, oh, you can go in and you can pop, 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 pop and miss people like Hannibal Smith in the A-Team, which is bullshit, because the game actually rewards you if you go non-lethal. You get more experience points. And I think Derek Kolstad has missed the point of that altogether. He's probably had a press pack given to him by Ubisoft, and this is what our super spy Sam Fisher is all about. You know, redacting all the key points about what makes that character fantastic. And even that interview with the other Guillaume on that YouTube where he says, yeah, they had some boxes they had to tick off, and I'm thinking, bro, what about the tick box that says black/DEI/shaven-headed. I'm pretty sure that was there. Can we see that, please? I would love to see that to prove my point. But of course, you really have an idiot like that sat in the hot seat, disrespecting the name of Tom Clancy and Splinter Cell fans all over the world. Yeah, you're not getting my time, bro. Definitely not. And I can't wait to see what shit show of a video game future series you're gonna have. I mean, why can't we have Ghost Recon Future Soldier or Advanced Warfighter? Why can't we get those ones again? I'll tell you the reason why, because they feature straight white men with generic names like Scott.
Captain Mitchell, I'm Lieutenant Rosen, the Ghost Team's Training and Logistics Officer.
Yeah, we can't have them again. We've got to have something completely different for the modern audience that does not exist whatsoever. You got modern times, that's for sure, but a more modern audience that goes to the modern times? I don't think so. So I'm pretty much exhausted on this, folks. And again, if you dare to watch the first episode, well, you've got my commiserations, but you won't have my sympathy, I'm afraid, because this is an absolute shit show that needs to be annihilated. And by the way, if you do end up watching the first episode or the entire series of DEIwatch on Netflix, make sure you give it the big old thumbs down, because that will tell the algorithm on Netflix that you don't want to see a third season of this show. But who knows? And by the way, I've got to go back to McKenna very quickly. If she's this hotshot super agent that can do no wrong, how come then in the first few moments of this particular story does she get to a main target and starts vomiting all over the place because she can't handle killing a group of men behind the curtain, despite the fact that before this point she's already killing off bad guys like they're going out of fashion? I don't know, I'm just the guy who sits here waxing lyrical about these things to you. But if you ended up liking this video today, folks, make sure you give it a like, smash that subscribe button like it was your Netflix subscription, and I will catch you catching me for the return of the next video. Oh, and by the way, if you really want to watch a great Sam Fisher animation, try Splinter Cell Extinction from 2009. Now those are really good.